In the early 1st century AD, Rome was at the pinnacle of its power, literally extending its borders around the Mediterranean from Britain to the Euphrates, encompassing North Africa, the Middle East, and a large part of Europe. A recent change had consolidated this boundless power into the hands of one man, causing the ancient institutions of the Republic to slowly fade away and even disappear. The light of the gods now shone on the shoulders of a man named Octavianus. Behind this radiance, he stood out as an invincible figure. However, the harsh winds of the north were about to turn the unknown and frightening lands of Germania into a new storm for the Romans. As Octavianus, with his famous legions, advanced blindly into those dark and misty lands, the fires of service he would experience would be felt in every corner of the empire. Octavianus's fate was determined in 31 BC on the western shores of Greece, in a naval battle that changed the course of Roman history. It was a sea battle that defeated the Egyptian fleet and marked the end of decades-long civil war. Shortly thereafter, it was learned that Cleopatra had committed suicide. The one who defeated them was now the new master of the Roman world. A deep silence began to be felt throughout the Mediterranean. People, although unsure at first, would eventually be convinced that the decades-long civil war had finally come to an end. The Roman Revolution initiated by Julius Caesar had come to an end. From now on, a period of peace, stability, and prosperity called the Pax Romana would prevail for 2 centuries. However, for these to be realized, Octavianus had to take action to strengthen his position. His first move was a bit different than expected. When he returned to Rome, he announced that he was leaving all the powers and authority he had gained during the civil war to the Senate. For such an ambitious man, this decision was not easily made. Soon, evil began to roam among the columns of the Senate building, revealing the ambiguous picture of what this decision had cost. He began to send into exile all the senators who did not politically support him. Although it seemed that he had lost his powers, it was clear that he retained his power. In addition, in 27 BC, the Senate bestowed upon him the title of Augustus. This title made him the most powerful man in Rome. Although the Republic technically continued, the Senate's decision made Octavianus the first Roman emperor. During his reign, Octavianus's legions expanded to northern Spain and Africa. The eastern borders of the empire were secured through a peace treaty with the Persians. The northern borders were more uncertain and subject to change. With Julius Caesar's conquest of Gaul, the Roman Empire had reached its new natural borders extending to the Rhine and Danube rivers. The unknown beyond these borders was terrifying even for the Roman legions. Behind this terrifying image lay the bloodthirsty desires of Germanic tribes that showed no restraint in their savagery, or at least that's how some Roman historians deemed it appropriate to portray their contemporaries in the north. During the Augustan period, Gaul continued its development as one of the empire's newest provinces. Road and bridge construction carried out by the governor transformed this rugged and fragmented terrain into an easily accessible location extending to the Atlantic in the west and the North Sea and the Rhine River in the north. These efforts would soon attract the attention of Roman elites to the wild lands beyond the Rhine. In 15 BC, Augustus's stepsons, leading Roman legions, invaded the south of Germania. The attacks in the region continued to intensify day by day. Eventually, the south of Germania became encircled by Roman legions. Slowly but steadily, they moved northward. Thanks to their military successes, they defeated the Germanic tribe. Germania finally turned into a province paying tribute to Rome. All the tribes in this region surrendered one by one. Endless military campaigns ensured the almost complete annexation of Germania into Roman territory. Only one tribe resisted. The Romans besieged this region. At the same time, revolts erupted in different parts of the country. Therefore, they had to retreat. They left behind 3 legions. In 09 AD, the work conducted by the legions continued smoothly. They also resolved disagreements among the tribes. However, some tribes attacked the legions working on road construction. A Roman spy had incited the Germanic tribes. During the peace process, a part of the army went south. Some commanders were on various visits. The Roman spy had planned all of this. Rome believed in this spy. He claimed to have secured a safe path for the legions. In fact, it was a trap. The Roman legions did not notice the enemies around them. They were attacked by the tribes. They lost their guides in the Teutoburg Forest. A heavy rain started. They got stuck in the mud. They tried to escape. They burned the weights on them. They were subjected to another intense attack. Thousands of Romans perished. A few soldiers continued to flee. They made a different plan. They took a defensive position until help arrived. The soldiers bringing help were also attacked. The commander committed suicide. There was no one in charge. Soldiers continued to commit suicide. The Roman spy shot the remaining soldiers from behind. All the legions were completely wiped out. Never again were they replaced. Romans were able to recover 6 years later. When they returned to the battlefield, they saw that it was filled with the bones of Roman soldiers. They buried all the bones with ceremonies.